So in this video we'll carry on from the first video where we showed you how to create the contours in the PartMaster CAD system, and we're now in the Wire-EDM software. And as you can see, the two contours, because they had two datum positions, have been transposed so that they're now coincident with each other, which is what we want. So when we come into the Wire-EDM software, the system will automatically create a two-axis program for each contour that it finds. Now in this case we don't need that, so I can simply delete these machining operations that have been created. We can stop it doing that if you don't like that. Okay, so we need to create a four-axis operation. So to do that, we go to the four-axis tab at the bottom here, and then we need to choose the contours. So this is the contour that will be where we want them to be. We'll set the offset and the direction of cutting, and then the distance between the two contours. Okay, so that creates the machining path for those two contours, and if we look at that, if we wanted to, we could animate the wire. So we can see that moving on the screen. Now it could be, of course, that the synchronization points between the two contours are not exactly as we want to machine them. So what I'll do next is show you how we set those. Okay, so we go back into plan view, and then we use the synchronize button here. So we've got the two contours as we want them to be. So now it's a question of, this is the start point of the contours, so now I'll add the synchronization points to where I want them to be. So this will force the wire between these 2 points. So this is showing me the bottom contour and the corresponding spot on the top contour. So I can now do the same thing and just step around and introduce synchronization points to force the wire to be where I want it to be in any given position. Now I can adjust all the colors on the screen if you can't see them too clearly, but you should get an idea of exactly what it is I'm doing here. So because it switches one contour off and the other one on as I'm doing it, it's easier for me to see where the synchronization points are actually going to take place. Okay, when we're happy with that, we just run the job, and now you can see that it's synchronized the positions in the top and bottom of the contours so that the wire transition is exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so this is the wireframe view. Now we could go back into there and we can add and we can modify the synchronization points if they're not exactly where we want them to be, but in this instance it looks like they're pretty much exactly where I need them to be. So we can then post-process that for the desired machine tool, but before we do that we'll run the 3D simulation, which will give us a solid view. We're using a 4-axis Wire-EDM machine. So it creates the data and submits it to the simulator, and then when we get into here, then we can view the component in various ways. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just switch to transparent stock so that we can see. Okay, so those are the two wire guides and the stock, and then we have simple video controls at the top here which run the program. So we can speed up and slow down the display. The feed movements are shown on the right hand side here. Over here we have the view controls, where we can see the component from various views. If we want to, we can switch off and invert the shape so that we can switch off the guide so we can see more clearly what's happening there. Okay, so that gives us the simulation, and we take the geometry file down to the machine and cut the part.